Appalachia is known for its stunning scenery, kind folks, great cooking. Something else it's known for is its unique architecture. Imagine you're driving up the twists and turns of a mountain road in North Carolina. You look up and you see a castle right on the bluff. Today's story is of one such place. Appalachia, the mountains are like no other. From its rigid terrain, beautiful wildlife, to the people that live their lives here, to the strange, unexplained stories that folks share. Join me while I share this amazing place, one story at a time. In the last video, I made mention of a unique sounding place named Zealandia. Let's dive into the history of the place and see what we can dig up. To see where Zealandia came from, we first have to see who came up with it. It all starts with John Evans Brown, born February 17th, 1827 in Pennsylvania, eventually as a child moving to Asheville, North Carolina. John grew up in Asheville, but like many men, news of gold in the West called to him. So in 1849, he went to mine for gold in California, but he ended up going broke, finding nothing. He soon took a job as a surveyor for a few years, but seeking wealth, he headed to Australia to start a sheep farm. His farm was successful, so he took it to New Zealand to grow it even more. And in 1871, he became a member of Parliament. But in 1883, he and his family moved back to Asheville, money in hand from his successful farm career, back to his father's land. His father sadly passed in 1884. The vast areas of land that Brown's father owned was thought to be worthless, until John stumbled upon a gold mine. Well, not exactly gold, but mica. John found large mica deposits, so he built a factory and grew very rich. Kinda ironic, isn't it? He left in search of gold and wealth, but it was literally right under his feet the whole time. Sadly, John passed in 1895, and by 1903, the Browns' estate was sold to Philip Henry's. Henry's was the creator of Zealandia itself. He loved the mountainside view of Asheville. Being from Australia, he saw the place as a resort community. Being an intellectual, art collector, and diplomat, he set out to build the estate to showcase its beauty. Architect R.S. Smith and Henry's built the estate into an European-style castle in the Tudor style. The added carriageway with its notable bridge. In 1924, Henry opened his estate as a public art gallery showcasing his collection. But sadly, Henry's died a few years later in 1933. Zealandia then went to his daughter, who kept the property in the family until 1961. Then the property was sold to the Department of Transportation, North Carolina, to build the Interstate 240, supposed to cut right through the mountain and the property itself. but a Bowcatcher Mountain Defendant Association was formed to save the museum and the property. And eventually, a tunnel was built through the mountain, but sadly, the museum was torn down in 1976. But a year later, the property was placed on the National Register of Historic Places, saving it from further destruction. Today, the property is privately owned. It is so sad how history can be torn down just so a road can be built. Folks, I want to thank you for sitting and listening to the tale and history of Zealandia, a castle built in the mountains of Asheville, North Carolina. Well, I appreciate you listening. I love you to pieces, and I'll see you next time.